This is a 20-minute actor's vocal warm-up, focusing on the body, breath, voice, resonance, and articulation. Start out by stretching anything that needs to be stretched today. Could be back, bum, shoulders, thighs, anything that you feel has a little bit of tension left in it, give it a good stretch. Now let's work our way through some specific parts of the body. Beginning with the head and neck, you can take one arm and give your neck a gentle stretch to the side. The key here is to keep your breathing completely open and free. Notice if you're holding your breath through this exercise. It may be a sign that you hold your breath throughout the day. And then take that other arm and place it on your wrist. You can give the wrist a very gentle pull downwards. It'll just open up the stretch a bit more. And I'm sensing the difference on either side before I move into the next side. Keeping my breathing open. Before reaching my arm onto my wrist, gentle pull down. This is getting into the sternocleidomastoid muscle, stretching it out on either side of the neck. And finally, I just sense the head centered on my spine. Now coming into the shoulders, as if I'm throwing an underhand ball, I'm breathing in at the top and releasing the breath out on the throw, opening up the shoulder each time I go. Breath in and throw. Of course, we have two sides of our body, so bring that throw over to the other side. Breath in and throw, release. I'm a bit uneven. I've got a bit of scoliosis, so they may feel and look different. That's perfectly normal. Next, let's open up the muscles in and around the rib cage. Big stretch up over to one side. And I'm breathing into the rib cage almost as if it's a balloon that I'm filling up, and then I sigh it out to release. Big breath in and release. And big breath in, up, over. And I always check in between here, sensing the difference. Okay, we have to go to the opposite side. So breath in, up and over, filling up the rib cage as if it's a balloon. Big breath in and release. And breath in, expanding the rib cage. A lot of tension tends to get held here, so it's great to bring it into some rope climbers for rib opening, or forward pulls or rope pulling. And back to the climbing. And back to the pulling. Keep breathing. Okay, now for my secret favorite, opening up the back and the bum. So coming into a forward bend, you see I've given myself a big hug, letting everything go and taking a few breaths in, opening up the back, sensing as if the breath is going in all the way down to my bum. It's not really, but having that sensation. And you can feel this even further if you come into a full squat. I've opened up my legs a bit. And take the breath in almost as if you're filling up the area around your hips and pelvis, expanding and releasing on the sigh out. And slowly roll up back into standing through the spine. You can sense the vertebrae stacking on top of each other as you come up. And at the top, feel the body completely centered. The next part of the warm-up involves being on the floor, so come into semi-supine. That's a position where your back is on the floor, but your feet are planted, so your knees are heading towards the ceiling. And in this position, I take a few moments to allow my body to sink into the floor. I don't have to hold myself up here. You don't have to hold yourself up here, so it's a great moment to let gravity take over. Release the head and neck. Release the shoulders. Allow any tension in the hips to melt. Settle into the floor. Take a breath in, and we're going to sustain that on an S. At the end of the S, allow your breath to come back in and repeat this process about 2 or 3 times. Breath in, long S. Air comes back in, long S. You can imagine that you have a little feather on your lips and you're gently pushing the feather up to the sky on an S. Now we're going to transition to a voiced zzz. So breath in and zzz. You may have a sensation as if the zzz is coming up from your hips all the way up through your stomach, your chest, your throat, before it hits the lips. And of course, continue this a few more times. Once you finish with your air supply, just allow the air to come back in and continue on with your sustained zzz. As you bring your zzz to a close, sense the newfound ease in your breath. And come back into standing. Now let's repeat these exercises in a standing position. As if you're throwing a dart, aim your S to a point in front of you. And repeat that process about 2 or 3 times through. I'm holding onto my stomach just to be sure that it's not overly tightening up. And of course, you can change the aim of your point as you go. Now let's transition into a sustained zzz. Again, throwing the dart, and I always have a sense of the voice coming out like on an arc, meeting the point that I'm seeing. And I change points, but I'm repeating this about 2 or 3 more times through. Now we're going to open up the voice on a soft ooh. As you do this, sense vibration on your lips. Continue, but gently change the pitches as you go. Perhaps higher or lower. All the while through, feeling vibration on your lips. Yeah, you can go up in pitch. Now we're going to build that sound into ooh. But the key here is to keep the vibration forward and on the lips. That's the only place you should be feeling the voice, is the vibration on the lips here. I'm playing with a few different pitches. And definitely don't neglect the lower pitches. Now into some lip trills and sirens. Explore your range a bit, going higher and lower. Start high and then come down. You can start low and then you can go up before coming back down. Involve your entire body into this. It's important that the voice is completely embodied. It lives in your body. So sometimes playing around like I'm doing here, not looking very happy about it, but playing around, I'm acting like I'm a little kid on a roller coaster or riding a motorcycle. And I continue on because isn't this fun? And then transitioning vocal sliding on an Quick note about breaks in the voice. But let's move on to resonance. Head resonance. Begin by humming on a soft pitch into your head. It may feel as if there are vibrations that you can feel on your forehead. And I bring my head forward to feel that more. And I count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now the nasal resonance, humming into the nose. This may sound like a cartoon character.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now moving to the chest resonance area. Hum into the chest. This may be found easiest on lower pitches. And I'm giving myself some light taps to release any tension, to sense the sound kind of bouncing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's move into open vocal glides on ha. You can sense the switching between resonances if you stay on one pitch, but glide between head, nose, mouth, and chest. Final resonance exercise is just a full body shake while voicing, and I'm lightly bouncing on my heels here. You're looking for the voice to have a sense of a shake to it as well. Moving into articulation. Begin by moving the muscles of the face around. Soft chewing, raising the eyebrows, tensing the muscles around the cheeks. Anything to get this area working. And then you can move the tongue around in the mouth. I'm doing some tongue circles. Keep breathing here. Make sure that your neck isn't tensing up, your shoulders aren't tensing up. And then you can stretch the muscles of the tongue and the face. I'm squeezing the face and then I'm releasing the face, but I'm making sure that my breath is open and free throughout this. Couple of tongue stretches on the bottom teeth. And you can add some gentle sound when you're ready. Okay, let's warm up some consonants here.
B, 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 b. D, 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 d. G, 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 g.
And bring those onto some words.
Pop, b, 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 bob. Hit, take, d, 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 did, dad, kick, kick, g, 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 gig, gig.
Now I'm going to use a V bounce to activate the muscles of support. Here I'm doing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Then switch between V and speaking, but keep your sense of power.
Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow.
You can also have a sense of a completely open channel running from your stomach all the way up to your mouth.
The lamb was sure to go.
As a final grounding exercise, bounce up to the sky, reach up, and then slowly bring your arms down, but your head stays up as if you're Da Vinci's man. Keep breathing. Have a sense of your body in this room, your feet on the floor. It's a final moment to connect with your own energy. This is a really good chance to read a piece of text aloud, sensing any changes with your voice or playing with it.